So last month, the spiritual successor to Terraria was announced as the collaboration between Relogic and Engine Software, and after doing some in-depth analysis of my own, I've devised a list of the top 5 things I want to see in the game. Now this is completely based off of what we have seen so far and what was shown at GDC this year. I'm sure a lot more is going to be released in the future, but here's a list based off of the current state of development. Now I did a list 2 years ago giving suggestions for Terraria 2, but since this isn't a sequel, that list doesn't apply. Starting off in the number 5 slot is a fully fledged tutorial with a hint system. The problem most people found about Terraria is that they didn't know enough, and so after spending an hour in the game with no real purpose, they got bored or confused and never played the game again. Not every gamer has a ton of time to research a game on Wikipedia. Now this is completely fine if you're playing Minecraft because the heavy emphasis on discovery keeps people playing, and so in Terraria, where the emphasis lies on combat and progression, an hour of digging is very boring for a new player. So if you were to start the game by explaining what must be achieved, people may feel a little bit more invested in doing so. Coming up in the number 4 slot is a Horde Mode. From reading countless articles on Reddit and reading coverage of other news sources, it was announced that Terraria Otherworld has a tower defense mode built into the game, centered around your base. Now I think this is a seriously cool idea and I really feel as though it's a real twist on the formula, but I'd like a separate Horde mode that lets you face more monsters than you can handle with a dedicated wave system, just like the wave events in the original game. With the new tower defense mechanic, this would allow players to strategically use their offensive items and minions and see how far they can go. This would be good for those who don't have a lot of time to play and just want a separate minigame. In the number 3 slot, maintain the art style. So it's quite obvious that Terraria Otherworld has a brand new art style and there's a big uproar of people saying it looks like Starbound too much. Well, that's just stupid. When Starbound was being developed, they faced the same issue of people telling them it looked just like Terraria. So keep the art style and make it your own. The game seems to feature very basic sprites and it is up to the team of talented artists to make the most of that. I'm sure there will be a range of badass weapons throughout the game and they need to look badass but fit the art style perfectly. I was getting sick of seeing items in Terraria that doesn't even match up with the rest of the game, and that's why eventually over time all the artwork was remade and corrected, but I'd like to see this from the start. Coming up in the number 2 slot is in reference to Throwbacks. Now if you're planning to make throwbacks throughout the game to the original Terraria game, make sure to either do it subtly or go all out. This game is meant to be set in an alternate reality to the original game, and so I feel as though an alternate reality to the things that we love would be a perfect homage to Terraria players. For example, in Terraria Otherworld, what is the guide actually up to? What happened to the coffee here? Doing stuff like this would keep Terraria fans happy and create a new experience for others. It'd also be really fun for the people behind the game because they get to have a little bit of a joke behind it because they can go, maybe the Dryad's dead. So, coming up in the number 1 slot, here it is. I want a way to finish the game. For this game to be set apart from the original game, it needs to take a bold approach away from it. Terraria has no real end goal, and Terraria Otherworld's aim so far is to rid the world of the corruption. So how about this? When the world is finally free of corruption, we receive an ending and some statistics on how long it took us to finish it. This way we can compare times and create speedruns. The world would still be completely playable from there for those who want to build upon what they've already made. Now I'm sure this would be tricky if they're planning to release DLC in the future, but I'm not sure why they have to. They gave us so much with Terraria for free for such a small price. Let them have a game that doesn't need to be added upon. Let's have an end goal. I would really like that. So that's been about it for today's top 5 list. If you'd like to see more, here are 2 top 5 lists from the original Terraria game. I make these every single week. I make 2 a week now, and they're always a big laugh. There's always like a heavy debate in the comment section below, you know, on the criteria of some of the things or some people's own personal lists, so feel free to jump into the comment section. Let's get talking, guys. What do you want to see in Terraria Otherworld? You see, it's still very small at the minute, not really much is known, and so it's all up for debate right now. What do you really want to see? Well, that's been about it for today's video. Thank you for watching. I really enjoyed this. I really can't wait for this game. I feel like it's going to be fantastic. Either way, my suggestions are just my own little inner things, and it shouldn't even really be taken completely seriously because they're my opinions, and I'm not the creative force behind this game. And the people that are fantastic anyway, and they've already made a fantastic game that I will forever love. So, what can I say, really? They have the minds, and they know what they need to do. So thank you all for watching. My name is James. Peace.